What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and I gotta say, I was impressed. It was a very, very well executed April Fool's joke. First half making us think things had changed, that we finally had grown from our mistakes, gotten better, just to say, April Fool's, and the second half fall apart completely. I mean, I was laughing. It was so embarrassing. So yeah, now with that lighthearted moment out of the way, I can finally get. Well, no, I'm not pissed because the thing is, I saw it coming from a mile away, and I've seen it coming for a while. I mean, we've not been good enough the past several games. It's been just slowly dropping off. It's been a slow decline. Every single game, it just feels like something else, something else. Even if, we beat Leicester in the FA Cup, who cares? It's just not been good enough. We struggled to beat Leicester. That's not good enough. And it's just, it keeps getting worse. Every game I watch, there's something else. There's something different. There's something else going on. In my opinion, I'm not the one that's like, beginning of this year when we were dropping off, we got to get rid of Conte right now. I've given him chance after chance. I've tried to say, hey, look, we can't be rash with this. There are a few moments where I was frustrated with him and I'm like, he needs to be gone. But then took a step back and said, you know what? Okay, we don't need to get rid of him just yet. Maybe give him a chance to work out the year, finish Champions League spot, finish with an FA Cup possibly. Give him a chance. Give him a chance to see how he's going to do. Because at one point, the club even came out with a statement saying we're happy with where we are in the Champions League, the FA Cup, and in the league, because I think we were comfortably third at that point. And then things just fell apart. And now it's time. Now our position in the league isn't good enough. We're knocked out of the Champions League. Even if we make it to the final, it's against Southampton. And then we've got to face either Man U or Tottenham, both of which have beaten us recently. We're going to end up with no trophies this year unless a change happens. And that change has to be Conte gone. So let's talk about this game. First of all, I mean, the game overall, it played out exactly as it did last year in reverse. They got that early goal against us. I think Henderson scored it, and it was 1-0, and then we managed, Pedro got an equalizer late into the first half. And then we have the momentum second half. We go on to win it easily. This game, reverse it. We score in the first half, pretty good goal. Then Henderson equalizes late on in the first half. Now they've got the momentum going into second half. They go on to win comfortably. And the second half was just, it epitomizes where we are right now. A lack of creative effort. These moments that should lead to chances that don't really even lead to a shot on goal. Defensive errors in the back that just... and no changes. And that's the biggest frustration, is that we're not making changes. Conte is doing nothing to affect the game. And as a coach, that's not good enough. You look at some of these other coaches for the top teams. You look at Klopp yesterday making some of his changes and affecting the game in a positive way, and then they go on to easily win their game. You look at Wenger this morning, made some changes, affected the game, and they go on to win comfortably 3-0. Sure, referee, bad call, whatever. It doesn't matter. He made the changes that put them in a better position to win, and Stoke all of a sudden were on the back foot. And it's none of that from Conte. He waits until nearly the 80th minute to finally make a change. That's too late, I think at that point it was already 3-1. It should have been a change after 2-1. It should have been, we're down a goal, we need to go put this game away. Drew, get in. But he waits. They score another, and now it's too late for him to do anything when it comes on. So that's pretty much the gist of it. It's just Conte isn't involved anymore. He's just not the same person he was last year. And now whether that's down to the board not backing him enough, helping him out in the transfer window, whatever the reasons are, you're still getting paid to do a job, do your job. And he's not. And so now is the point where you just got to say, all right, thank you for what you did last year, but this year it hasn't been good enough. You've not done enough. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. It doesn't matter why you're upset. You've not done enough this year for us. Thank you, but goodbye. We need somebody to step in and help us finish this season strong. Because there's a very, very high chance after today's result that we are not finishing in the top 4. I mean, this was pretty much our last chance to close the gap between us and Tottenham in 4th, and we let them get 3 points further away from us. So we're pretty much done with Champions League. The only option we have left for any sort of salvaging this season would be winning the FA Cup, and that looks highly unlikely because Man U and Tottenham are both better than us right now. Not talent wise, not like players, individuals. No, they're just better as a team because their managers know what they're doing. Even if Mourinho is crazy, he still knows what he's doing out on the pitch. Whereas Conte is just lost. He has lost himself. He's lost the fire from last year. He's lost any sort of sense. He's got to go. It's time. This is the perfect game to do it. You've just gotten embarrassed at home by your rivals. Thank you. Goodbye. Moving on to individuals. Well, I guess I should also mention, I will say the referees were pretty poor today. I've noticed this a lot more in our games for some reason, but they're like protecting the defense whenever we play against these teams. It doesn't matter who we play. It's like the defense is always getting protected from our strikers. I don't know if maybe that's because we had Costa last year and they're like, oh, we got to make sure, Chelsea's attackers don't hurt anybody. But it feels like, the defense can do whatever they want to our strikers. And yes, Morata can go down easily from time to time, but there's some times where he does get bullied off the ball. He gets shoved off the ball and nothing happens. And then he's battling with someone and then they just fall over and it's a foul all of a sudden. So I am disappointed with that. Lamela should have been sent off. He had 2 elbows in the first half and then went studs up. Or no, he stamped on Fabregas in the second half. And then Vertonghen is the one who went studs up on Hazard late in the game. Didn't even get a foul called for that one. So a ban may be coming his way if the referee didn't see it. But yeah, it's one of those little things where I don't know if it would have helped us a whole lot. Obviously, if Lamela had been sent off like he should have at the beginning of the second half, that would have helped us a bit. But even with that, I still have to look at our performance and say, I don't know if we would have been able to do it against their 10. But with all that being said, individually, Caballero, obviously it's difficult whenever your starting keeper does get hurt. Not that Courtois has been great and everything, but yeah, that first goal wouldn't have gone in if Courtois was in. So yeah, I'm glad Caballero has performed as well as he has in some past games, but in this one he was downright awful. And that first goal should never go in. It doesn't matter how well he struck it. You can't be beat from that far out when it's right over your head. As a keeper, especially for how tall he is, it's not like he's one of those short keepers that has difficulty getting. No, he is tall enough. That should not be going in. And it did. So that one was definitely his mistake. On the second one, obviously nothing he could do for that. And then the third one, I felt like he should have gotten on it a bit better. It felt like he never really had control of himself. He was just kind of flying all over the place trying to make saves. It should just be more calm and composed. You just make the save and that should be the end of it. But anyway, Azpilicueta, honestly, for all 3 of the defenders, they weren't bad, but they weren't good either. It was kind of a mixed bag for me. They had some moments where they did some really good defensive work in the first half, and then the second half they kind of dropped off. The second goal especially, Azpilicueta is not tracking the runner. Christensen, it doesn't drop off quick enough, and it just simple ball over the top. That's stuff that happens in high school. It shouldn't be happening at the professional level. So you really kind of look at it, and there are some defensive mistakes by all 3 of them. And there were some really good moments in the first half where they worked very hard to, keep the pressure on, make sure they didn't have time. It just feels like they can't do it for a full 90 minutes. That's kind of disappointing. You should be able to work yourself the entire game, not drop off in the second half. And it kind of feels like they have been in the past few games. Christensen hasn't been the same solid, consistent player I've come to expect. Azpilicueta's been okay, but it feels like he's not really doing as much. He's not as effective defensively recently. I'm not sure why, but it feels like he's not really blocking off as many passes and as many shots as he should. Rudiger kind of feels like he fades in and out of the game doing the defensive work. So overall, I'm not disappointed with them, but I'm not really proud of them either. They're just kind of somewhere in the middle. Moses on the right, obviously it was a good cross. It's the only good cross he hit today for the goal. And aside from that, just same old Moses. He works hard back. He does that part of it, but when he gets up in the front third, can't do anything with it. Crosses bouncing off the defenders, bouncing off of him out for a goal kick. It just feels like he's not effective up top. Alonso, similar thing. Just not effective up top. but also doesn't really help us defensively either. So yeah, he's really the one that I'm truly getting frustrated with because he's getting all of this time, and all I can think is, once again, how bad is Emerson? He comes on with a bit of pace, and I'm wondering, can he not bring that every game? Is there a reason why he's not starting over Alonso? Because Alonso's bringing us nothing right now. Unless we get a free kick on the right side of the box about 25 yards out, Alonso brings us nothing. And today, once again, proved it. He lacks something. He lacks that really hard-hitting something that I'm just like, yes, that is why he's out there. I can't think of any reason why he's out there. He's a body. Fabregas and Conte in the midfield did about as much as they could for the first half, and then second half when Tottenham started coming at them with a bit more pace, they just got run over. It's one of those moments where you just see them working hard in the first half, and you're thinking, all right, we've got this. And then second half when they start flooding numbers forward, and now they've got to track different people, and they're losing track of their man. I mean, it started becoming just a constant flood, and they weren't able to take control of it. Conte obviously works hard every game, so I'm not really disappointed in him at all. I will say Fabregas, his passes could have been a bit more calm and composed second half, but I think part of that is down to the fact that he's just not that type of player. He's not the player that can play under high pressure. So, yeah, that's about it there. Front three, Hazard, he worked pretty hard the first half, but frankly, I just don't think he has. I don't think he had a good partner up there with him today. Let's talk about Morata first because I think that will make more sense with the other two. Morata is not good enough, and it's been that way for a little while. I think a lot of people know he's not good enough, but today it showed. It really, really showed. Yes, he got the goal. Fantastic. You managed to beat one person in the air, get the header goal. Great. What did he do after that? What did he do before that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The runs he's making aren't very effective. Whenever he gets on the ball, he loses it too easily. He's not strong enough under the challenge. Whenever somebody's flicking it on, he's not making the running behind. If he does, he's offsides. It's just, he's not effective. He had one moment that led to a goal today, and that was the only good thing he did. Everything else was just so ineffective. And whenever you've got one of your players up top completely ineffective, it hurts the other two that are working hard to try to find him because they make a good play. Hazard does something well. Willian beats a player. They find Morata. Ball lost. And that hurts us. It hurts us up top to have a player like that. So, Hazard, Willian, both of them worked hard. Great. I'm glad you did. But they're not able to contribute if they don't have somebody up top that they can find, that they can trust, is going to get on the end of it and do something with it, do something effective with it. They play the ball in behind. He's offside. They play the ball in behind. Defender beats him to it because for some reason Vertonghen is faster than Morata. That should not be happening. So I'm really frustrated with Morata. I feel like Giroud is the better option right now. But obviously I'm not the one in charge of all of that stuff. So they keep going to Morata, and he keeps just providing us nothing. So, as far as the subs that came on, Giroud came on with 10 minutes left, and he worked hard. I saw him make a few really good plays. There was one nice little layoff for Fabregas that should have led to Vertonghen sending off. And just moments like that, you can see him. He gets in a good position, holds off the defender, ball comes in, lays it off. Great. He does that so well. And I think we needed that more in the first half. I think it would have led to a few more chances that we could have converted and put the game away early. Next one, Emerson came on for Alonso. Like I said, he came on with a lot of pace and a lot of hard work. I didn't see him do anything that made me go, oh yes, he's easily the best. But he has enough speed to contribute out there. Why not give him a chance to? Why not see what he can do? Because Alonso hasn't been providing enough. And the last one was Hudson-Odoi just came on for a few minutes. I don't really know why. At that point, it was just way too late in the game. It was like 3 minutes left. And you're bringing off Morata, which should have happened, honestly, first. But, it was, I guess, a chance for the youngster to run his legs out, see if he could provide anything different. But, yeah. So, Champions League ambitions are pretty much done. I mean, even if it's going to take a miracle and a half for us to make Champions League. Like Tottenham, Liverpool have to lose out for the rest of the season, and we have to win out if we want any chance of getting up there. So that's pretty much said and done. FA Cup, even if we beat Southampton, which should be a surefire win. You know, if you don't beat Southampton, that's embarrassing. But even if we do, I mean, we're facing either Tottenham or Man U in the final, and I just don't think we're good enough to beat them right now. Mentally, we're definitely not good enough. So, looking forward, I mean, there's just not a whole lot to get excited for the rest of the season, and that's disappointing. Because coming into this season, it felt like, okay, we're coming off a solid season. We did really well last year. Let's come off and let's get even better. Let's improve. A couple of our signings started off very well, and then just started dropping off and dropping off and dropping off. Conte started dropping off. He starts making horrible decisions, putting players in that don't deserve the time. We lose a few games, and now all of a sudden it's like, well, I guess the media was right. And I do get frustrated with the media for talking all this crap whenever, you know, they don't know half of what's going on. They just like to spread stories, and it seems to leak into the camp a little bit. I do hate that, but prove them wrong. You know, do something that proves them wrong. Everything that they've been doing recently, everything Conte's been saying recently, it just proves the media right. And every time you prove them right, it's just their ego gets inflated, and they're going to keep talking, keep spreading rumors, keep talking all these stories, and it just keeps getting worse. So that's about it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for your Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys next game. Peace out.